All right, good afternoon, everyone, and hello. We are here updating you on what is likely to be our first major winter weather system of the season. It's getting a little bit closer, and I'm sure those of you who have been out and about today can kind of see everyone getting ready and prepared and talking about this big system that's going to be making its way through our area on Sunday and Monday. We do have a few small changes to the forecast from what we had yesterday, so we're going to run through all of that and more here in this update this afternoon. We'll have one more update tomorrow as well, right around this same time. First of all, what I want you to see is the timing of this storm. This is one thing we haven't changed. The timing is still pretty much the same, moving in around midnight on early Sunday morning or late Saturday night, starting as light snow, and that is something that more models have kind of picked up on as time has went on, for about 30 minutes to an hour, starting this as a light snow, especially in our northern counties, then transitioning over into a mix of sleet and freezing rain. Sunday morning is really when the brunt of this system is going to start moving in with widespread freezing rain and sleet. And then that will continue through the evening hours on Sunday, and it will all end as snow on Monday, and that is what the latest models are starting to come into agreement as we'll see the majority of our actual snowfall early on Monday morning. Before we get to the ice impacts, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the snowfall portion of this. This is the current expected snowfall map from the National Weather Service in Paducah. And as you can see, most of us expecting to see at least an inch of snow, probably more towards around an inch of snow the further south you go, say south of the I-24, I-57 split. That's where you have the best chance to see about 1 to 2 inches of snow. Those of us in Jackson, Williamson, Saline, and Gallatin counties probably going to see about 2 to 3 inches of snow. As you move further north into Perry, Franklin, Hamilton County, that's when you start to get into about the more 3 to 4 inches of snow. And then the further north you go up towards Mount Vernon is where the total is increased to about 4 to 6 inches. And then if you're traveling up north towards St. Louis, Effingham, Olney, all of those areas expecting, I'd say at least 6 inches of snow from the system, maybe even up to 8 inches, and some models even suggesting some areas up towards Effingham and Champaign could see up to a foot of snow once this is all said and done. Again, that is the official forecast for snowfall from the National Weather Service. This is the high-end amount, so there's a 1 in 10 chance of there being higher snowfall amounts than this, just a 10% chance of there being higher snowfall amounts than this. So if we do end up seeing more snow from this system, these are some of the amounts we could see, saying 4 inches in Marion, 8 inches in Mount Vernon, probably about 6 inches in areas like DeCoyne, Pinckneyville, and Benton, and then tapering off to about 2 inches in areas like Vienna, Cape Girardeau, and Metropolis, the further south you go. And then this is the low-end amount. There's a chance where this system might move up a little bit further north, kind of what we were seeing in the models yesterday. If that happens, we'll see lower snowfall totals, but still, I think regardless, we'll probably see about an inch or two in Franklin, Perry, Randolph, Hamilton, and White counties, and then up more towards 2 or 3 inches in Jefferson County as well. So that is the snowfall end of things. Now let's talk about what everyone is talking about, and that is the ice. Here is the latest expected ice accumulation forecast from the National Weather Service. We put this out a few hours ago. Hasn't changed since that. Originally, yesterday, the latest forecast, you see that area of extreme dark red that moves from Cape Girardeau through Marion all the way over to Owensboro, Kentucky. Yesterday, that area of red was moved up by about, I'd say, 15 to 20 miles more into like Williamson, Franklin, and Perry counties. And now they've moved that area of the most significant ice accumulation a little bit further south. So that would impact areas like Cape Girardeau, Marion, Harrisburg, Gallatin County, and into the area of Owensboro, Kentucky more as well. So that's something we're going to have to keep a close eye on who exactly sees the most ice accumulation from this, but it's important to note that regardless, if we see anyone that gets over 4/10 of an inch of ice, that is definitely going to cause some extreme major travel impacts, as well as possibly some power outages as well. So it's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. And also, if you look over in southeast Missouri, now don't take these exact locations, take it all with a grain of salt, because just because this map says I live in Fredericktown, Missouri, and I'm going to get 7/10 of an inch of ice, don't take that into account. This is just what a model is saying. But there are some areas that could see, both in southeast Missouri and southern Illinois, could see over 3/10 of an inch of ice, up to an inch of ice. So that's not going to be widespread. That's just going to be certain areas. But that's something we're certainly going to keep our eyes on. And if we do end up seeing that, man, we're definitely going to be in for some extreme impacts from that much ice. Let's take a look at this is the Winter Storm Severity Index. This is from the National Weather Service and the Weather Prediction Center. It shows the overall winter weather impacts throughout our region. And as you can see, the further north you go, the worse the impacts will be. Now, primarily, this is for snow. So this would be putting major impacts for snow up in the St. Louis metro area, really all along the I-64 corridor from St. Louis all the way over to Louisville, Kentucky. That's where you're going to see the greatest chance of seeing some of that impactful snowfall. And then into southern Illinois is where we see more impacts from the ice. Let's talk a little bit more about the impacts. As we've said, the ice is going to be the main impact as of right now in southern Illinois. Not to say this couldn't shift a little bit further south and we'll see more of a sleet and snow impact. If that did happen, it would be good for those of us in the central portions of southern Illinois, say Williamson, Saline, and Jackson counties. That could happen, but right now, all models agreeing that ice is going to be the main impact for Sunday and Monday, and then sleet and snow will be more of the secondary impacts, but they will still both have an impact in southern Illinois. As far as the specific impacts themselves, travel is going to be the biggest impact all across southern Illinois and into Missouri and Indiana, as well as the St. Louis metro area. That's going to be the major impact. Could definitely see some power outages, especially in southern Illinois, depending on how much ice we see. And what comes with that is also some tree damage as well, down limbs, leading to some of those down power lines. Let's take a look at what the models are saying right now. This is the latest update from the North American model, which is a pretty reliable model once it gets to this close of a storm system. This is showing what we are expecting from about midnight on Sunday until Monday morning. And as you can see, it's hinting that this might start out as a little bit of snow. So at the very beginning, you see all that blue there, that it's hinting that we might start to see just about 30 minutes to an hour of snowfall right there. And then after that, moving to more of a sleet and freezing rain mix before eventually transitioning all back to snow on the back end of the system on Monday morning. Originally, we didn't know exactly how much snow we might see on Monday morning, but now models starting to come into agreement that we will see a decent amount of snow on the wraparound portion of this storm once we get to Monday morning. So, yeah, we're going to likely see all four types of precipitation in this storm system. Another thing I wanted to point out is some of things you'll need if you absolutely have to travel. Once again, travel is absolutely only if it is necessary are you encouraged to travel in this storm. You're not encouraged to travel at all if you cannot. So here are some of the things that we're looking at. Some winter storm survival kit for travelers, cell phone and charger, obviously always a good thing to have. Blankets, sleeping bags, flashlights, a first aid kit, knife, non-perishable food items, water, extra clothing, tissues, hand sanitizers, face masks, sand, shovels, and much more. All some good ideas of things to keep in your vehicle if you absolutely have to travel. Another big question we've gotten is school closures. Now, I know a lot of people are asking about that. Now, some school districts, due to the winter break, actually do not have school on Monday, but I think it's pretty much, if we see what all the models are pointing to, it's pretty much guaranteed we're going to see some closures once we get to Monday, and maybe even beyond there in southern Illinois. And we are definitely going to have a list of all of that posted up on our Facebook page as well, and our website by the closings and delays. We're going to have those listed all up on our Facebook page once we start to get those in, likely by tomorrow. Not just school closings, but also business closings as well. Another list we'll have out, we actually already have this list out. We're going to update it here in just a few minutes, and that is the list of local warming centers. We just had a few extra warming centers announced in DuQuoin and Mount Vernon that we're going to add to that list. And there's also a full list of warming centers in Williamson, Franklin, and Jackson counties as well that is posted up on our Facebook page. Once again, let's take a look at, for those of you just joining us, some of the impacts when it comes to the ice from this storm. Again, that's the main story, is that ice. And we could very well see 4/10 of an inch to about a half inch of ice throughout southern Illinois, and that would definitely lead to some major impacts if we do see that. We talked about this yesterday as well, but another thing we're going to see beyond this system is whatever falls is going to stick around, because by the time we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to likely see low temperatures into the single digits. So yeah, take a look at that. 5 degrees in Marion, 4 degrees in Harrisburg, 0 in Mount Vernon, and then actual temperatures into the negatives the further north you go. And that's not even taking into account the wind chill. By the time we get to Wednesday, we could see wind chill values well below 0 the further north you go, and right around 0 degrees throughout most of southern Illinois. So whatever falls is definitely going to be sticking around. And keep in mind that although the roads are being salted right now, through the majority of this event on Sunday and Monday, temperatures should be warm enough to where that salt will have an impact. But on those rural roads, whatever freezes over on Monday and Tuesday will likely stay there for a while, because by the time we get to those days, we're going to start to see these really, really chilly temperatures make their way in. And there's a certain temperature once we get into the teens and below that that salt doesn't have as much of an effect as it does when we have temperatures in the 20s and 30s. So that's something to keep in mind as well as we move into the middle part of the week. Let's take a look at some of the questions we might have over in the comments section. Once again, we encourage you all to leave any questions you might have for us. We'll do our best to get those answered. What are we seeing through Franklin County? Well, we're seeing pretty much what everyone else is going to see throughout the majority of southern Illinois. I'll go ahead and put up that ice map one more time. Most of us going to see a mixed bag, all 4 different types of precipitation: snow, sleet, ice, and maybe even a few raindrops as well. So Franklin, Hamilton, Jackson, Williamson counties all having the potential to see anywhere, I'd say, from 3/10 of an inch to up to a half inch of ice from this storm. And some isolated areas, as we've mentioned, could also see totals even more than 6/10 of an inch of ice. So that is something we're certainly keeping an eye on. Tasha asking about timing. I'll go ahead and put that graphic back up one more time. Again, the timing for this storm going to start right around midnight on Sunday, likely as a light snow, quickly transition to sleet and freezing rain after that. It'll continue as sleet and freezing rain throughout most of the day Sunday. Models hinting we could get a little break by the time we get to Sunday evening, and then moving and transitioning to all snow by the time we get to Monday. Monette asking about coming home to Carbondale Sunday afternoon on Amtrak. That's a tough one. Sometimes when it comes to travel on the rails, ice can impact that as well. So that's traveling on Amtrak on Sunday is going to be a difficulty. I would definitely see if you might have some alternative options if you are having to do any travel when it comes to the rails or even the air on Sunday and Monday. We'll likely see a lot of delays, especially up towards northern Illinois and in the St. Louis area. Matt asking, could this be a record of ice for some areas? No, I don't believe so. If you're saying a record of ice all time, no, I don't think we're going to see that. We obviously had that ice storm back in 2009 where many areas saw over an inch of ice in southern Illinois. I don't think we're going to see that with this storm. Not to say some areas might reach close to an inch of ice, but I don't think we're going to see impacts quite of that magnitude. But we could definitely see some individual records when it comes to maybe the month of January or maybe an individual record for a specific location, but widespread record-breaking ice, I don't think that's something we're going to see in this storm. So if you have any other questions, be sure to leave those down in the comments section. I do believe an ice storm warning will likely be issued, if not today, definitely by tomorrow, due to this storm, because as we've mentioned, ice is going to be the biggest impact from this winter weather system. So we're going to keep you updated as much as we can. Once again, we have that list of warming centers and that list of closings and delays. It'll be posted up on our Facebook page the closer we get to this event, and we'll have another update for you tomorrow here on WFCN News and the Swin